Well, hello, everyone. This is Jeannie White. I'm the station manager at Passionate World Talk Radio, and I know I haven't done interviews in quite a while, but I am going to start up some of them. And what I have is one gentleman I met through a meetup group, done by Bill Connell. I mean, not Bill, I'm sorry, he'll kill me. Michael Connell, and he's a KC Visuals. And it's a meetup group, a referral exchange area, and it was my first time there, and I met David and we talked and I invited him on the show. So that's how I met David. David, you want to give a little background on what you do?
Well, what I did was I was an event photographer for many years. I did a lot of corporate events, photographed a lot of corporate events and conferences and meetings and all that wonderful stuff that unfortunately no one is doing at the moment. So it's been an interesting journey since mid-March.
I bet it has been for everyone, really. It's just amazing, how everything has changed for everyone as far as business goes, especially the small businessman. They're the ones that we're losing every day. And it's because it's a challenge for them,
It's a real challenge.
Yeah, it is a challenge.
I mean, we were lucky enough to, when the time came, we actually got a PPP loan, which we promptly gave back, said thank you very much. And didn't really want to have to deal with all of the uncertainty surrounding it, which is still surrounding it, it seems. But we also applied for and got an EIDL loan, which was very helpful. Turns out we only wanted a certain amount, but kind of made a mistake and said when we initially applied, it was like, well, why don't you apply for the maximum amount? So we did. And they gave it to us, and it's like, oh, well, we didn't really want that much, but that's what you applied for. Oh, we didn't know that you could adjust it. So we got a much larger loan than we planned.
Yeah.
But, it's actually okay. So it's fine. It gives us some running room, and we're just being really careful about, what and how we're spending. And since we started this new business, kind of gives us a little bit of seed capital. So that's good too.
Well, that's definitely a positive deal. But I'm sure it's a big change from doing big events in Boston and maybe weddings, all kinds of different things that you will be around a lot of people. And now you sort of have to, we're distancing ourselves, so it does affect. I never realized how much it affected so many different businesses, really, and how it affects it. And, what I was concerned about is we're losing restaurants on a daily basis and the average, the small businessman. And basically that small businessman is the backbone of America. And they're struggling and maybe showing what you're doing and how people can improvise to keep the momentum going of their trade of what they like to do.
Well, we call it, or I call it reimagine. I actually like that phrase a lot better than pivot. And I'm also a huge Disney fan. So, and I believe in an Apple fan, and saw innovate.
Definitely.
Innovative, creative, think different. It's, you got to be unique. You got to be different. You always have to think out of the box. And you always have to be, 1 or 2 steps ahead. And that's how I've done things all these years.
Really? So what are you doing now that's different compared to what you did previously?
Oh, goodness. That's a long story.
That's okay. Don't worry.
Well, comparatively, I work with a lot of event planners and meeting planners and people who produce really big, events, corporate events at the convention center or in all the hotels in Boston. Most of the time, they called me, which was really nice. I've been very involved. We've sponsored all these industry association groups for many, many, many years. And that has paid off immensely over the years as we form relationships and strategic partnerships with all these planners and people allied to the events industry. And we're still actually very involved. I haven't given it up. I'm still very supportive and still sponsor about a dozen or so different association groups, even virtually. We're doing screenshots, photo screenshots, I should say. And then my wife Greta, who's also in the business, has her own version of the Hollywood Squares, and she goes in and kind of picks the best images and cleans them up and puts it all together. And we send everybody a couple of really nice, solid images they can use for marketing and PR and social media and all that fun stuff. So we're still staying very active in the industry, and we feel everybody's pain. In fact, they just had this big Red event a couple months ago, highlighting the fact that 50 million people have lost their jobs in the events industry. In hotels and, event planners, everybody allied to the events industry. Most of us are all small businesses, and it's forced a lot of people into a very difficult situation. So we're all having to do what we got to do to continue to survive.
I know we talked previously when we were talking on the phone, we had talked about maybe, what is it that you can do to help yourself? And one of the ideas is, are you thinking about how you can create memories for people by photography?
So, as I've always done, when I was just doing consumer work, way back when I had a video company. And so I used to do wedding videos and bar mitzvah videos and, all that stuff. And part of it, I also did, home movie transfers, taking people's home movies and transferring them all onto, videotape at the time. There was no digital, there was no any of the stuff that you see today. So what I've done is actually, I've stepped back 25 years and gone back into this business, except today, we're transferring everything to digital using a digital scanner for film, and even with videotape, VHS tapes or beta or 8mm video, transferring that through a very high-end box, which maintains the quality, so you don't get drop off in image sharpness or color, and we're able to maintain that, and it's coming out beautiful. And then from there, I'm able to either put it on a memory stick for people, or I can burn them, a Blu-ray disc or a DVD, whatever they like.
That's terrific, because there's so many avenues to explore on this, because there are so many people that are in isolation, and I know there are a lot of caregivers that perhaps would like to recapture some of those memories of someone that has either passed away or is losing more and more of their memory, and create a little family package of their family. I think that would be an excellent thing as a gift for someone to give.
Well, it is. And, what's happening with a lot of the films over time is, they're becoming more brittle over time.
Right, yeah.
And they break, or like this is one of my demo reels that I've been using to just experiment and play with before I use clients' reels. And, it's already got some creases in it. Or it's becoming, you can feel the film. It's a little bit brittle. And so what I've been doing is actually bought a wonderful piece of chemical. Although it's very non-toxic, which is even better. And basically what it allows me to do is I spray this on the film. After I go through it, check it, clean it with this. This gets rid of all the dirt. It puts a slight oil on the film, and it makes the film soften. So it actually preserves the film. And it's the same type of chemical. It's called Film Guard. It's the same type of lubricant that they use for motion picture film in theaters.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's interesting.
So they're doing a lot of research.
I guess. Well, talking about movies and stuff, that's another avenue that has lost a lot, and some of them are not coming back as well as they used to. So there's a lot of different areas in the entertainment business that has been, dropped.
been affected. People are afraid to go to the movie theater. They're afraid to sit in crowds of people.
Mm.
And, you know, I don't blame them. It's, you know, whether this is an airborne illness, you know, it's, you never know. I mean,
No, you don't. But I have a little movie theater here in Dedham called
Mhm.
the Community Theater, and they've opened, and I am almost ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
See, because I miss it. I miss the movies, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to stray off on that because I want to talk about your photography. But
Right.
I know I've seen on the internet a lot of innovative ways photographers are maintaining their business, such as taking pictures in the backyard, the front steps,
Mm-hmm.
taking pictures of their photos. So, there, have you heard of any other ideas that photographers are doing to keep their business afloat?
Well, I know for us, I mean, in addition to what we're doing with, you know, with the films, we're also transferring people's photographs and slides as well. So that's another piece of this. In
Mm-hmm.
terms of, you know, what other photographers are doing, I mean, I've seen a number of people go out and they're still doing weddings, which is a great thing. We actually did a wedding about a month ago myself, but it was an interesting because it was an older couple, and
Mm-hmm.
one of the requirements was is that everyone had a quarantine for 14 days prior to coming to this wedding. And it was only, you know, 12 people, so it wasn't a huge wedding. It was in their backyard. And I had it. They wanted me to go get a COVID test, and I was like, I don't go anywhere anyway, but I'll, you know, I'll do it anyway.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, so I went and did that. And long story short, I not only did photography, but I also did videography at the wedding. Wasn't supposed to. My videographer was supposed to come, and she came down with it turns out, a 24-hour virus.
Oh,
But
God.
it wasn't COVID.
Oh.
But you know, nobody wanted to take any chances. So
Right. Right.
I'm both a photographer and videographer. I did double duty, and it both came out beautiful. So I'm not sure I could have done it if it was a 200+ person wedding. That would have been a
Well,
different.
probably not, but still, look at this. Something that was only supposed to be photographs turned out to be something else.
Right.
And sometimes you just don't realize the different changes that happen. But again, you were with a group of 12, you know.
In this case, I was with a group of 12, and it's no different whether it's a group of 12 or it's one person. I'm doing their executive portrait.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I have, you know, my PPE gear on, married to a nurse practitioner. And, you know, so I've got my double mask and I have a face shield. And, you know, we
Mm-hmm.
socially
Mm-hmm.
distance from not only most people say 6 feet, it's 10 feet for us minimum. And even when I'm making pictures, the only time the person that comes and when they do their headshot and takes their mask off is just when they're actually doing the sitting in front of the back. I hang up a roll paper backdrop in my backyard.
Yeah.
And I photograph people from about 20-25 feet away with a small little flash, with a couple reflectors, and it works out great.
So it's still working. You're just improvising now. So you're just doing it, but in a different way.
In a very different way, and the result is the same. It looks like it was photographed in a studio. You would never know the difference.
You're still capturing those memories for them.
Well, I'm still capturing, you know, in this case, portraits. People still need portraits for LinkedIn or whatever purposes for business, and so that need will never go away. And it's really hard to do it yourself, as good as, you know, all of these, you know, even the new phones. I have my new phone. You know, it's not the phone, as I always say. It's not the tool. It's knowing how to use the tool.
Right. Yeah. See, I have one too, but I take it, but I don't know. There are things I can do to it.
Well, my analogy is that you could give me a $10,000 gold-plated hammer, and I'd still hit my thumb. You know, I could build something, but I couldn't guarantee how long it would last.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's very hard to be able to. You know, people have tried to make their own pictures, and it's. I know I've tried, and it's not the same as having someone guide you and help you, and, you know, say, okay, we'll fix your collar, and, you know, sit up a little bit and smile.
Sit up straight. Yes. Make sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, I take a lot of pictures with this, but it's not pictures. It's when I go out to eat a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I have captured my whole life with food,
Okay.
really.
That's what
So
Facebook is for, right?
yeah. But I'll put them up, not a lot, but I will. But I have them. Like when my friends and I were going to Aruba every year.
Hmm.
We would 2 years later, I would send them a card of some
Hmm.
place we went to eat in Aruba, and they loved it. Because it goes, and you can think back of what was happening, just like what you're creating. People can not see it like for maybe a year or so, and they can look at that picture again and remember the whole day.
That's right. It brings back all the excitement. It brings
Right.
back
Yep.
memories, and
Yep.
that's what I've always been able to do. I've been gifted that way, and I'm very good with people. I really enjoy working with people. I'm a people person. So sitting in front of my computer all day long is not my ideal situation, to say the least. So I sit in a lot of Zoom meetings, and I have interactions this way, and it works out great.
That's all that matters, really, is that what you're doing. But when you were talking about what you were creating, I'm thinking about all the memories that I've created, like from 2011, I think, when we were going to Aruba and other places we went on weekends and stuff like
Hmm.
that, and events we went to. So my life is chronological with everything I've done, and it's
Hmm.
obviously it's up on Google Drive, but a
Hmm.
good portion of them are in this camera. So I can well imagine how people feel when you're there and you take these wonderful photographs of them, and then 5 years later they look at it, and I'm sure they're very grateful that you
Hmm.
were there to take them for them.
Well, I'm transferring an order right now that a client has dropped off, both hers and her sister's videotapes. They happen to be little VHS-C tapes, so they're about yay big, and they have to go on a VHS adapter in order to play in a regular machine. They've given
Yeah.
me like 40 of them.
Wow.
Yeah, so and I've just got done transferring all of that. And what I'm seeing in the videotapes is people's memories, birthdays, weddings, holidays, vacations, all these things that people want to remember, and people they want to remember. And what I'm also seeing in some of the tapes is I'm seeing some of them are deteriorating. I'm seeing dropouts in the tapes. I'm seeing some artifacts in there that just happens as you play it. The
Right.
machines, unfortunately, are very hard on the tapes. That was one of the inherent issues with videotape.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you play it, the more chance you took of actually damaging it over time. And headwear and all the machines and all the other stuff. So this is a great way for them to be able to preserve it. And when it gets to be digital, it doesn't change. It stays
It
because it's
stays the
all
same.
stays
Yeah.
the same. It's all ones and
It stays the
zeros.
same. And it's great. I mean, to say there was a person that was going to listen to this on YouTube or whatever, and
Hmm.
they had wanted to give someone a gift,
Hmm.
and you could help them, like a little the thumb drive would be great,
Hmm.
as put it in a box, and people went under. That would be a great gift to give to someone. Like 15 or 20 pictures of something that they all celebrated with. So I'm just trying to think of the different ideas that people would want to um, uh, come to you and say, "Can you do this for me?" type of
Well,
deal.
I'll tell you a story. I had a friend of the family some years ago, it was probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and she was downsizing her home. She lived in Lexington,
Mm-hmm.
and husband passed away, kids had long moved out. She just wanted to be in a community place, so she had to
Mm-hmm.
literally downsize an entire house, and her house was filled with photographs. I mean, large photographs hanging on the walls, uh, you know, piles and piles of photos, and just in shoeboxes, whatever, in
Oh
bags.
yeah, yeah.
And she's like, I can't take all this with me. What am I going to do? My space that I'm in is just not going to work for me. What
Mm-hmm.
would I do? And she said, well, is there a way to take what I have and preserve what I have? And is there a way that I can maybe hang some type of picture frame on the wall that would actually I could see the images? So I said, yes. So let me take your images. Let me take your photographs and your slides. Let me do my magic. And then what I'll do is I'll put them on a thumb drive for you. You'll be able to take all that thumb drive and be able to put it into one of these photo frame type of devices. And I
Mm-hmm.
think this was like I don't know, 16 by 20 size photo frame. They come in
Yeah.
all different sizes. And so now when I did that project, and then she moved into her new apartment, and we hung it on the wall, and I got it going for her. She was thrilled because now she has all
I'm
of the
sure.
photographs all
Yeah.
up on the wall in one place, in
Right.
one frame. She can watch it whenever she wants, and I know she's enjoying it to this day. So, we all have the same issue. We all got, and I'm self-included, I
Mhm.
get, bins full of family photographs because I take pictures of my kids when they were little too, and now I'm an expectant granddad coming up,
Oh, nice.
or
Oh, well,
Zadie, as I should say, coming up next April. So this kid's going to be photographed up and down.
yeah. That's
My-
terrific. What is his name?
well, no, he's not born yet. He's
Oh.
he's my son is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My
Yeah.
daughter-in-law are expecting next April, so
April. Oh, spring.
in spring. So
Yeah.
whatever the baby is, it doesn't matter, boy, girl. It's that child is going to be well photographed because my son and my daughter-in-law like to take pictures too.
And pictures. So pictures are great. They really are. And I know we're obviously not as expertise as you are, but certainly our phones now you don't even you don't even need a camera. You just say, "Oh, wait a minute," and take a picture. And you capture that time period.
Mm-hmm.
And,
And you can do that, but it's the same problem. Because, in the old days when we used to take pictures and then you get your film processed at, Walmart or Walgreens,
oh yeah,
CVS or whatever, and you'd come back and it'd be a bag and it'd be the pictures, 4x6 pictures, and it'd be a whole strip of negatives.
Oh yeah.
And you take that, you throw it in a shoebox or a bin, or then I'm going to get around to putting it in an album someday. And
yeah.
most people did, but many of the photo albums were not, people that did put them in albums were not archival. So what would happen is the pages would begin to yellow.
Oh,
and and the photographs would begin to start to deteriorate.
Yeah.
So now you've got all these pictures, whether it's from 4x6 little pictures or negatives
or big
or
ones.
slides to, digital.
Yeah.
So, now they all live up on the cloud somewhere.
I know it. That cloud is really full. That's all I have to say. Yeah.
And you pay for that every month. So
oh yeah, I do. And but you don't want to depart with those pictures, but obviously, they're there, I guess, but then we forget what was there. Unless we catalog them all,
And I can help you with that. I can help you with that too.
Oh, see, now there's another thing you can do. You can help catalog. There's a lot of things you can do. That's marvelous, really, when you think about it. That there's other means of monetizing yourself. So that's a good deal.
Exactly. So right now I'm in the process of formulating a marketing plan, and I'm going to build out a whole new website. And
good.
I have a page up on my current website, but I think as I've made a real commitment in the last couple of weeks to say this is a new business for us, and we're going to forge ahead with it, and we're going to take our time, and we're going to do it right. And I'm still, as I tell my clients, I'm still learning in the process.
Right.
Like I just had a client come in and drop off a roll of Super 8 sound film, and he had gone around, he called around and said, no one could do it. And he said, can you do it? And I said, well, let me see what I can do. So I took it from him. I went out and I bought a Super 8 sound projector. They don't make them anymore, but I bought a refurbished projector, and it works great. And I went ahead and I did the transfer for him. And when you transfer sound, film and sound together, you have to speed up the film a little bit, which speeds up the sound a little bit, which kind of makes everybody sound a little bit more like Mickey and Minnie Mouse. So, how do you compensate for that? Well, what you do is I go in and I was able to slow in the computer. I was able to slow the film down a little bit.
Yeah.
I was able to, in doing so, the motion of people look a lot more normal. Their sound sounds a lot more normal, not perfect because it's still a compromise. You either slow the film down so everybody moves more slowly, like, in a little more in slow motion, the sound sounds good. Or you speed up, you have to make it so that people look right, and then their sound may be just a little bit higher than it should be, but not that much different. By doing so, it stays in sync, and it actually works really well. And I sent he said, send me a 1-minute clip so I can decide, because I've got a whole bunch more stuff. I sent it to him the end of last week. He emailed me back and said, I'm really happy with this. This is great. Thank you. I'm going to bring you a whole bunch more stuff. So
excellent. So that works. It's a win-win. Really is. Win-win. Yeah. Well, we're coming. I can't believe how fast 25 minutes went by. Mm-hmm. It always goes fast for me. I'm always amazed how fast it goes. But I really want to thank you. And, you're always open door here. If you ever want to come back, you want to talk about your new website or something new that's happening, mm-hmm. You're more than welcome to come back, David, anytime.
Thank you. I'd love to. If there's anything I can do to help you guys with what you're doing, please feel free.
That's how it works. So I know, mm-hmm. I've been, there's a ticker going across the screen for your mm-hmm. Your email address, but yep. Is there anything you would like to leave to the audience before we close? That is my web address. I'm sorry, that is my email address. My web address is davidfoxphotographer.com. And when you go up there, you'll see my photography work. Right now it's set up as my corporate site. We're consolidating a little bit, from we have a consumer site as well, which I think we're going to consolidate a little bit. And then we're also going to build out the whole transfer site. So there'll be there's a link on there right at the moment, which has a photo or two, and then the price sheet on our services. But eventually that will link to a whole brand new site. And as soon as I can get around to working on that might be my winter project. So there you go. Yeah, I know, because they're forecasting snow for Friday. So
yeah, I've heard that already.
A little too early, but there's nothing you can do.
It is almost November, right?
Yeah. Well, I really want to thank you very much for coming on, and I'm grateful for Mike Cornell for introducing me to everyone.
I've known Mike for years. Great guy.
He's a great guy. He really is. KC Visuals, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't want to make any more mistakes, because I have a tendency. But again, I want to thank you very much, and I want to thank the audience for watching. We did have people that were on that gave a few questions. To say hello. And this will be on YouTube, perhaps as soon as I end the broadcast. It'll be brought over to YouTube as one of the places. And I'll send you a blog and all the information of the audio and the video for you to do what you would like with it. All right.
Great. Well, if anybody has any questions or, ideas or thoughts, please feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to be of service and more than happy to speak with everyone and help you through your process.
That's great. Great, everyone. I hope everyone has a good day. And thank you again. I'm going to sign off now. Jeannie Weiss, Social Connections on Passionate World Talk Radio. Thank you.
Thank you.